Hello my fellow chatters and book lovers, and anyone else who's popped in because you're curious about what this is or you have got a bit lost. Welcome everyone, I'm Chatty, this is my channel Chatty the Mad Chatter, and I'm going to be chatting away madly about my Gothtober TBR. So you may or may not have seen that I have my October TBR where I talk through 4 readathons that I always enjoy and want to kind of dabble in, and in that I totally intended to play the Gothtober game. If you're unsure of what Gothtober is, do not worry, look in the description box and I'll also pop a link here so you can go and check it out. It's a readathon created by Hannah from Ladder M, and it's lots of fun, and there's a game that gives you prompts. So go and find out a bit more if this is confusing for you, or just carry on watching and feel confused. It's entirely up to you. I do recommend the first option there, and I am waffling. So we're going to move on. The Gothtober game. I tried to do it. I tried to do it during my October TBR, and because when I do long videos, this is a short one and I'm editing it. That's exciting, but it's going to take a long time. It's going to be a bit annoying, but it's fine. In my long videos, it's one continuous shot, and I'd already started filming, got to the laptop went, nope, you can't play this game because I am that old, I will not support it. So it was a very big anticlimax and I couldn't talk about it. So here we go. This is me solving the problem. It has its own video now, and I will show you. I screen recorded myself playing the game, and I have stopped it, and I tell you all about the signs, what I choose, and then we're going to go through all the prompts that I get, and I'm going to do either some recommendations should you get that prompt, or books that I may be able to read. I'm not going to go fully in. I already explained that in my October TBR, but there are certain books I need to read this month, and my new thing is I love readathons, yes, but don't force myself to, you know, readathons are supposed to be fun, it's supposed to like encourage you to read different things, but I already know what I want to be reading and what I need to be reading, so I'm not gonna make myself go out of my way to hit these prompts. What's possibly gonna happen is they're gonna like smatter over into November, but I'm getting, some of them are giving me the vibe, so it's all gonna work. Anyway, I'll stop waffling and you can watch me play the game. Here it is. Okay, here we go. We are starting the game. So on the first page, we have got 3 different symbols, all made of stars. One is a hand upraised. Then we have one that is, I don't know what it is. It's like swirly stars. And then one is a robot. And I'm going to go for the robot. Okay, now we have an anchor, a leaf, and again, not entirely sure, but it sort of looks like a silhouette of a face made out of stars. And I'm going to go for the anchor because I do enjoy the sea and ships, so makes sense. The next one, I think it looks like a world with sort of a moth superimposed on it. And then we've got a sort of glowing potion bottle. And then what looks, I'm going to say it looks like a sunrise made of stars. And I do love a sunrise and a sunset, so that one is calling to me, so I'll go for that one. Okay, the first one is a rocket. The next one is sort of like a Celtic tri-knot, but it looks like it's made of blades. And then the third one looks like a world that's like dripping stars like diamonds, and I'm going to go for that one because I think it looks really cool. So next we have, it's sort of like triangles in a circle, and then the middle one kind of looks like an explosion or like the Big Bang, and then the final one is a magic oven glove, which is interesting, but I'm gonna go for the triangle in the circle, the more kind of like symbolic one, because that feels good. And we now have a scorpion, and then we have, it's like a diamond shape in some circle shapes. And then we have, it sort of looks like a crystal prism with laurel leaves behind it. And again, I'm going to go for the symbolic one with the diamond in the circle. I'm enjoying those. And we have generated the prompts. I have landed in Gaia, which is Hannah's galaxy, and that is the dark academia, historical fiction, steampunk-esque galaxy.
So I now have my 6 prompts from all the different choices I made, plus my Galaxy prompt. And then we also have the 3 prompts they always use every year, which is read a book by a BIPOC author, read a book with LGBTQ plus in it, and read a book with a disability character in it.
There we go. We have generated all of those prompts. And immediately when I looked at it, there was some where I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do for that one at all. And there's others that I really love that prompt, but I'm going to struggle to find a book. And there's others, and I was like, yes, I can get that one sorted immediately. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to go back to a voiceover mode, and I am going to talk you through each of the prompts, and I'm going to recommend 1 or 2 books, or suggest 1 or 2 books that I'm going to try. So let's go and have a look.
The robot icon generated to read a book with an AI, android or robot character. I recommend The Prey of Gods by Nikki Drayden. This is an African futurism book set in South Africa, and everyone has their own personal AI. Are they sentient, or are they like glorified, extra expansive mobile phones? We have 4 points of view plus an ancient goddess, and this book will definitely tick off a BIPOC author, disability representation, and LGBTQ plus representation. Also, it's an amazing story. I also recommend Which Way to Anywhere by Cressida Carroll, which is a middle grade whimsical sci-fi. We have 4 children trying to be a family mixed up in alien politics. We have portal travel to other worlds, and of course the AI is a delightful, adorable character called Puck, who you are going to fall in love with. The anchor gave me read a book with a ship, either space, sea, or a romantic relationship. A book I'd like to read is The Principle of Moments by Esme Jikaimi Pearson. This is an adult sci-fi involving time travel, travel through space, 2 characters saving the world, and tyranny and humans as second-class citizens. It's also written by a Black author, so we'll have BIPOC rep. Both main characters are Black, and it also has LGBTQ plus representation. Another book I could read is Secrets of the Stars by Maria Kuznia, which is a middle grade fantasy and follows on from A Ship of Shadows, where there is a female pirate crew on a magical ship that is so full of whimsical fantasy, and they are on a quest to find a lost map and continue on from the first book. There is LGBTQ plus rep from one of the supporting characters, and disability rep from one of the supporting characters. So the sunrise symbol gave me read a book with a claustrophobic vibe. For that, I recommend a YA novel in verse, Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. The whole of this book pretty much takes place in a lift, going from the different floors while the protagonist thinks about revenge. It explores the theme of gun crime and questioning unwritten rules. The book I'm going to read for this prompt is The Island at the Edge of Night, which is a middle grade sort of gothic thriller by Lucy Strange. It all takes place on a remote island where children are just left at this boarding school, and it's a small island. So for me, that feels really claustrophobic, that kind of isolation. I think even if you're not physically claustrophobic, I think that feeling of being abandoned could feel quite suffocating. The Dripping World gave me read a book with ancestry as a key theme. I recommend Homegoing by Yari Garcia, which is an adult historical fiction. We follow 2 different journeys. One is Effia and one is Essie, 2 sisters, and they have very different destinies, where one is taken as a slave and the other marries a slave trader. We then go down the generations, exploring the different things that their families have had to deal with because of their different lives. So ancestry is very key in this book. I will read Tamarind and the Star of Ishta. This is a middle grade, possibly contemporary with magical realism, by Jaspinda Bilan. This explores Tamarind and how she returns to her ancestral home in India. She never knew her Indian mother, and she has lots of questions for her extended family about who her mother was, her heritage, who she is, and there is definitely a mystery along the way. The triangles in a circle symbol gave me read a book with a sentient inanimate object, which is a fabulous prompt. I am going to read Foundryside by Robert Jackson Bennett, which is an adult fantasy. I've no idea about anything more around it other than lots of people say it is brilliant, and when I looked up books with inanimate objects, that is one that came up. I also recommend and would love to read myself Olivetti by Ali Millington, which is a middle grade book. I think it's contemporary with magical realism, and the tagline is a book, a typewriter, and the stories they hold. And the typewriter is Olivetti, the protagonist of the story, which sounds quite frankly incredible. The diamond shape and circle shapes gave me the prompt to read a book with a character with a specific set of skills, such as gardening. I'm going to read Blood Scion by Deborah Fillet. This is a YA fantasy, and our protagonist has a magical specific set of skills in that she can incinerate people. This book has a lot of themes of war, so check trigger warnings. It sounds like it's going to be quite intense and very epic. This will also count for BIPOC representation. I also recommend any of the Adventure on Trains books, which is a middle grade mystery series by M.G. Leonard and Sam Sedgman, where our protagonist, Harrison Beck, is very skilled in drawing. And he goes on trains and solves mysteries with his uncle, where his special skill set helps him. It's a very cosy middle grade, and the illustrations are lovely. And my prompt for landing in the Gaia Galaxy is to read a book with a size difference or age gap romance. This one stumped me quite a bit because I'm not predominantly a romance reader, but I've heard everyone talk about how much they love the graphic novel Lore Olympus by Rachel Smythe, a Hades and Persephone retelling, and that definitely has an age gap in it. But I can't access it, so I won't be reading it. I've already mentioned a few books for the 3 prompts they always have every year to encourage you to read books by BIPOC authors and books with LGBTQ+ and disability representation, but also Long Way Down, Homegoing, and Tamarind and the Star of Ishta also have BIPOC representation. And I am going to be reading Lights Up by Lisette Autumn, who is a disability advocate. So I imagine that there will be disability representation in that book. And it is a middle grade fantasy with 3 different timelines, historical fiction, and just a lot of fun by the sounds of it. It's all set in a theatre where the lamp is left burning to keep the ghosts company.
So there we go. I've got a few things that I'm definitely going to be reading in October that will hit those prompts. Some I may get to, should I read really quickly through a lot of the other things that I need to be reading, and ones where they're possibly going to trickle over into November, and ones where I haven't got a book at the moment that's going to help me hit that prompt. And I've got so many things that I want to be getting to that I haven't read, and I'm really trying to read from my shelves and not go and source books from libraries or buy new books in. So there we go. I'm doing what I can and I'm enjoying all of it. I hope you embrace the readathons you want to embrace in whichever way you want to partake in it. And all of the readathons always say, as long as you read one book that kind of fits in, you're taking part in the readathon. So it's all fine. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Give it a little like, because that's always nice. And please get chatty in the comments, because you know I love a chat. Happy reading, everyone.